Genesis 41 opens by telling us that 2 more years pass, and Pharaoh has a dream. That means 2 more years Joseph has remained in prison, forgotten by the cupbearer, but not by God. However, the delay is not wasted time. It places Joseph exactly where he needs to be when Pharaoh's dream requires an interpreter. The dream itself touches the heart of Egypt's security. Each year the Nile would flood, bringing fresh, fertile topsoil to grow the crops of the land. The river was Egypt's lifeblood, yet from it rise cows that signify both plenty and famine. The fat and sleek are consumed by the ugly and thin. The same pattern follows with the ears of grain, first full, then scorched by the east wind. Pharaoh senses the weight of the vision, but when he calls for his magicians and wise men, none can interpret it. Egypt's wisdom proves empty, standing in deliberate contrast to the God of Israel, who alone reveals the future. At this point, what happened 2 years earlier is finally brought to the cupbearer's remembrance. He recalls what Joseph had done for him, and Pharaoh summons Joseph. He is shaved and clothed, yet his true distinction lies not in his appearance but in his confession. It is not in me. God will answer concerning the welfare of Pharaoh. These words echo Joseph's earlier declaration in chapter 40, verse 8. Do not interpretations belong to God? Whether before imprisoned officials or before the king of Egypt, Joseph consistently attributes all power to Yahweh. This repetition demonstrates his faithfulness regardless of circumstance. He never claims the credit for himself but bears witness to the covenant God. Pharaoh's retelling of the dreams heightens their grotesque detail. The ugly cows remain ugly even after devouring the fat ones, and the scorched ears consume the good without change. Joseph's interpretation is precise. The two dreams are one, and they reveal what God is about to do. 7 years of abundance will be swallowed by 7 years of famine, so severe that the years of plenty will be forgotten. The doubling of the dream confirms its certainty. God has decreed the matter and will bring it about quickly. In speaking these words, Joseph not only interprets Pharaoh's dream but also sheds light on his own from chapter 37. His brothers scorned his double dream of sheaves and stars, but here Joseph himself explains that repetition signifies God's settled decision. The dreams they despised were God's fixed word, and their attempt to suppress it only advanced its fulfillment. Joseph does not stop at interpretation. He counsels Pharaoh to appoint a discerning man to oversee the land and to store 1/5 of the produce during the years of abundance. Pharaoh's response is remarkable. Since God has made you know all of this, there is no one so understanding and wise as you are. 41:39. This is the confession of a pagan king that Yahweh's wisdom surpasses all others. Pharaoh's favor toward Joseph echoes the trust already shown in chapter 39, when both Potiphar and the prison warden entrusted everything to him because they saw that God was with him. Pharaoh now extends that recognition to the whole nation. Joseph's brothers once mocked him, saying, in chapter 37, verse 8, "Are you really going to reign over us?" Pharaoh now exalts him over all Egypt and commands that every hand and foot move at his word. Joseph's exaltation is marked by the symbols of royal authority: Pharaoh's signet ring, garments of fine linen, a gold chain, and the second chariot. The call to bow the knee anticipates the very act his brothers had tried to prevent. Their attempt to silence Joseph's dreams by casting him into a pit has become the very path by which he now rules. The situation they tried to prevent is the very means God uses to bring it to completion. The names Joseph gives his sons show that he sees his story in this light. Manasseh, "For God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household," recalls the pain of betrayal yet affirms that God has healed it. Ephraim, "For God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction," confesses that Egypt is not his home, yet even there Yahweh brings abundance. These names do not erase the past but interpret it as God's work. Both the affliction and the fruitfulness belong to him. When the famine arrives, we are told it comes, in verse 54, just as Joseph had said, repeating the exact language used to the cupbearer and baker in chapter 40. The pattern confirms that Yahweh's word always comes true, and Joseph is revealed as a true prophet of God. Egypt cries out for bread, and Pharaoh directs them to Joseph. Whatever he says to you, you shall do. The one rejected by his brothers now holds the power of life for the nations. Genesis 41 therefore stands as a theological centerpiece in the Joseph narrative. The double dream confirms that God's plan is unshakable. The paradox of human opposition advancing divine fulfillment demonstrates Yahweh's sovereignty over every scheme of men, even using murderous intent to bring about salvation. And the structure of the chapter, from pit to throne, prefigures the truth that the path to life is through affliction raised up by God's own hand. By the chapter's end, the nations stream to Joseph for bread. In this, the promise to Abraham begins to take shape, that through his seed all the families of the earth would be blessed. Yahweh rules over the rise and fall of kingdoms, and through his chosen servant he brings life and blessing to Egypt and to the nations. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss future videos. And if you're able, leave a kind comment below. You can also share it with others, so they too can see the truth and trust in the Lord Jesus.